everybody, this is Calafia Sophia back at it again, getting us ready for this full moon in Sagittarius that is happening today, June 5th. It is going to be a very powerful full moon as it is going to be an eclipse. But before we really go into it, let's just kind of lay out what the week is going to be like. This is going from June 5th until June 12th. June 5th and 6th, the moon is going to be in Sagittarius, moving on to the 7th and 8th. It'll be moving into Capricorn. Then the 9th and 10th, it'll be going into Aquarius, ending off on the 11th and 12th in Pisces. And then on the 13th we'll get into a little more of the third quarter square moon. But this week we definitely have some powerful energy going on, and it's giving us an opportunity to really integrate the different aspects we have been working on over the past couple weeks. So it's very exciting times. Let's go straight into what this full moon is going to be for us. This full moon is in Sagittarius at 15 degrees, 34 minutes. Full moon represents kind of like the flower blooming, starting to bloom. So after the past couple weeks, we have been really working with expression from the first week. And then last week, we were working on experimentation. Now it's time for us to release the aspects that do not work for us, to go ahead and, really focus on meditating on the type of philosophy that we are needing to move into in order to move forward. Like I briefly touched on last week, an eclipse specifically is about breaking old habits, getting rid of things that no longer work for us. And so this is what makes eclipses very special. We are actually starting off eclipse season right now. So we have an eclipse right now on the 5th, and then in a couple weeks on the new moon, we'll actually have a solar eclipse in Cancer, which I'll be doing a video for that, and we'll also be having a Sophia Wisdom class on that Sunday night as well. And then keep moving it forward then on July 4th, which is very interesting, but we're going to be having a lunar eclipse as well, and that's going to be in the sign of Capricorn. So amazing times. It's 3 eclipses all in a row while we have a lot of retrogrades going, but I'll do some more videos on that later. Let me backtrack here and let's get back into what this full moon means for us, and over the next week, how we can use that energy to best serve us in our spiritual evolution. So we have this Sagittarius full moon, and then in between the full moon and the third quarter square moon is the time of integration. And what we are looking to do is to take these new philosophies in which we have been meditating on over the past couple weeks, and after we have laid to rest some of those old experiences and mindsets, we are looking to now integrate. How can we integrate these new philosophies and understandings about life in order for us to be our best individual? Again, this all ties back into that new moon, which I will, constantly be going back to, because, the new moon flavors a whole month. So it's about crystallization and solidifying who we are. So, and what we have been releasing, what the main releasing for this full moon in Sagittarius is these old doubts and ways that we're used to processing information that doesn't necessarily put us in the seat of power. It gives us more of a sense of victimization. Well, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why couldn't I have this? Why did such and such get this? We need to see how we got to the certain point that we did and why we needed to in order to gain those certain lessons. And by integrating a new philosophy on life, that we need to come out of wanting to be comfortable and really move into coming back to our instinctual aspects, in a sense of an instinct comes from being true to who you are. So this full moon specifically in Sagittarius is really focusing on getting back to our survival instinct. And specifically within mine, as it is falling under the sun in Gemini, and then also within this new moon on crystallizing. The only way that we can solidify who we are is by putting a new philosophy and a new perspective on how we see our life. Instead of seeing ourselves as being this complete victim that we have had no control, gain the control back by understanding that it was all a part of the process of us becoming who we are. And instead of looking at it from that way, now we can open ourselves up to go ahead and take a hold of our life, which is coming into that moon in Capricorn, and really make a plan. You know, how can I take these aspects that I'm learning about myself and become more disciplined and grounded and reach my goal? Capricorn is the goat, you know, basically finding its place on the mountain, reaching to the top of the mountain. And that's what we're really needing to do. So allow that Capricorn energy that's going to be coming to us on Sunday and Monday on how to really look at reaching our goal of being our highest peak of self, you know, and then we're going to take that and build upon that even more and integrate that by looking at the moon moving into Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is about new frontiers. It's about new, that rebel energy. It goes against the grain, and it's going to give us an extra push in order to see how we have been, you know, we've been coming away from being a part of the flock, the sheep, as some people will put it. And instead of becoming a part of what we're used to, now, you know, how can we take that plan and try implementing it in a whole new way? You know, so that way we can bring up these instinctual aspects of ourselves. You know, when we put ourselves in new situations, we have no choice but to rely on our true basis of self. You know, there's a part in Sherlock Holmes that is one of me and my husband's favorite. There's a part where he said, how do you tell an actor in the room? You tell an actor in the room by a spontaneous reaction. Actors can't prepare for spontaneous reaction. You know, if you are being your true self, you are going to go off instinct, whether it's dropping a glass or, you know, somebody, you know, shouts something. And then, but if you're acting, it's going to be like, oh, I don't know. I didn't prepare for acting in this way. So this is kind of the same thing in a sense of that we need to look at new philosophies, so that way we can test our instinct and remember who we are. You know, a lot of us have been acting for so long, being what people have wanted us to be, that we no longer even know how to tap into that instinct. It's so buried deep. But the only way that you're going to purify that and you're going to bring that out and release it and be able to integrate a new way of thinking, a new understanding, and a new appreciation for who you really are is by really approaching life in a new way. You know, you're used to getting mad about somebody saying something to you, and now instead of getting mad, you show compassion because that's something that's completely new to you. And so by showing that compassion, you're given a whole new way of thinking about things, a new way of being able to view yourself. And so because of that, you're able to integrate the aspect of remembering your instinctual self. And then as we move over into the moon in Pisces, expect that doubts and stuff may come up. And that's okay because this is crisis in consciousness is going to be coming up here soon, which I'll talk about next week. But that crisis in that energy within Pisces is just, you know, that doubt, and you're feeling this, but I want everyone to like me. You're used to looking at the collective consciousness and figuring out who you are. But it's really going to be a challenge for you to really dig into, you know, there is nothing wrong with me being my best self and trusting my instinct. So, you know, and this is, you know, that when that moon moves in Pisces, at the end of the week, right before that third quarter square moon, it is a great time for meditation, really reflecting, visualize who you are looking to become. You know, for me, it's like I have been in this whole mom phase for so long that I have forgotten what it means to be an individual outside of mom. So what I'm really working on right now is just really reconnecting with myself. And I'm going to be over the course of the next week, really looking at what it means for me to be a mom, and not what my mom says, what my mother-in-law says, what anybody else, my friends say. You know, what does it mean for me to be a mom? What does it mean for me to be Calafia? And so it's like, this is something that I am really challenging and pushing for you all to do. Like I said, this is an eclipse. It's time to break old habits. You have that celestial energy helping you right now. And then as we move closer to the next eclipse, it's going to be on that new moon. I'm really excited for, because it's really about us breaking a lot of connection to our old childhood ways of being. You know, so it's just this, we're preparing for that now, but now is the time to integrate and understand that you have to, you know, really come back into being yourself. and to really to be able to solidify and crystallize who you are, who the world needs you to be. So we are, this can also be applied to our marriages and to our family. And Calafia Sophia and the Sophia Wisdom classes that I'll be doing once a week, we'll be taking these concepts and digging deeper on how we can apply this to ourselves, looking at our own personal charts on how we can implement this. And then not to mention, really looking at how we can put this within our marriages and how this can reflect inside of our household and our relationships with our children as well. So I definitely encourage you, come out and check us out on ParadoxHorizons.com and subscribe so that way you'll be able to get those updates for when we have new events. We're going to be having a greenhouse parenting class coming up in the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout on Paradox Horizons on Instagram or on Facebook, or my personal page at Calafia Sophia on Instagram. So you can be up to date on the new classes and awesome things. We'll be able to take the astrology, and then also taking our relationships deeper, especially during these times of kind of uncertainty. So, all right, I love you guys. I hope you're able to, take this and integrate it over the week. Just remember, while you're dealing with all this stuff, that adaptation is the best way for you to connect to your instinctual self. All right, guys, I will talk to you later, and thank you again. See you next week.